The Range Rover Sport is assembled in India, but the one I have here today is completely imported. Thus, it's the fastest Range Rover ever. It's the most dynamic Range Rover ever. It's the most engaging to drive Range Rover of all time. It's the most expensive Range Rover Sport ever, priced at rupees 3.52 crores on road Mumbai. Fun fact, you pay rupees 40 lakhs for registration and rupees 15 lakhs for the first year insurance of this car. This is the first Range Rover with a differential wheel setup, 285s at the front and 305s at the rear, and thus it has the widest rear tire of any Range Rover. And the first and only Range Rover with carbon ceramic discs, which actually use F1 technology and are 34 kgs lighter, which are also the biggest brakes on a Range Rover. Actually, this car has the largest brakes to be ever fitted on a production car, because at 440 mm, they are 20 mm bigger than what's on the Bugatti Chiron. This is none other than the Land Rover Range Rover Sport SV. SV means special vehicle, which replaces SVR, aka Special Vehicle Racing, with the third generation of the Range Rover Sport. But this is a special edition Range Rover Sport SV, the Edition 2. And thus gets bigger air intakes, sportier bumpers, and you can opt for one out of the 4 SV Ultra metallic paints. This is the Sunrise Copper, which gets copper colored brake calipers. But the biggest USP of the SV Edition 2 is the generous use of carbon fiber on the hood, around the grille, front splitter, bumper, side vents and exhaust surrounds. You can also opt for carbon fiber wheels, which shed 21 kgs of unsprung weight. There are multiple Edition 2 logos on the car, along with Edition 2 logo projection from the outside rear view mirrors. The design of the Range Rover Sport is just amazing. So clean yet so attractive, with hidden illuminated door handles that only pop out when you unlock the car, and a hidden rear wiper washer which actually covers a large area. Measuring 5 meters in length and 3 meters in wheelbase, the Sport is similar to the full-size Range Rover short wheelbase, while the Range Rover long wheelbase is 200 mm longer, both in terms of length and wheelbase. Thus, space at the rear is good, but not great, and the seat reclines slightly only. However, there is a chauffeur mode which pushes the front passenger seat ahead to increase legroom. Headroom and kneeroom is good too, while under-thigh support is kind of average. The Edition 2 treatment is on the inside too, with an all-black cabin and black ceramic finish on certain interior parts like a luxury watch. The biggest USP of the Edition 2 are these body and sole front seats, which have 4 chambers on each seat for an immersive audio experience, as the seat vibrates in tune with the music. It also has 6 wellness programs to relax you in case you are feeling stressed maintaining such a car. The front seat backs and door pads have chopped carbon inserts, which may not be to everyone's taste. These front seats have a tickling function due to the integrated headrest and more sculpted bolsters, along with SV badging, which illuminates at night. Heck, even the seatbelt buckles illuminate at night. The other SV specific change here is the steering, which has an SV button, which when pressed puts the car in SV mode by making a ton of tweaks to the car. More on that in the driving part. It also changes the ambient light to red and the paddles glow red. Press the SV button again and the paddles turn white. Long press the SV button and the car enters configurable dynamics. The Range Rover Sport SV is a feature-loaded car with headlight washers, matrix LED headlights, dynamic swipe indicators at the rear, welcome and goodbye animations for the exterior lights as well as the cluster and infotainment screens, soft closed door function, multicolor ambient lighting, panoramic sunroof, heated and ventilated front and rear seats, massage function for the front seats that are 16-way adjustable, electric steering adjust for both height and reach, 13.7-inch instrument cluster which has high-resolution graphics, a heads-up display with an SV-specific mode, 13.1-inch touchscreen infotainment system which is slick to use and even showcases vehicle dimensions. It also has a valet mode, dedicated off-road menu, weight sensor, stopwatch, lap timer, detailed menu for eco-driving tips, tire pressure monitor, 360-degree parking camera with bird's eye view, underbody view and off-road views, rear camera washer function, wireless phone connectivity, inside rear view mirror camera, double sun visors, air purifier with PM 2.5 air filter with ionizer, deep cleaning function, 4-zone climate control AC with digital fan speed control, premium leather handles over every door with AC vents next to them at the rear, 29 speaker 1430 watt Meridian signature sound system, wireless phone charger, laptop charger in the second row, powered tailgate and the ability to park itself. The Range Rover Sport is a practical car with plenty of storage spaces, including 2 glove boxes, large door pockets, movable cup holders in the center console and rear center armrest, a cool compartment under the front armrest and a hidden cubby hole below the center console. Even the boot is big at 835 liters and you can alter the ride height with a touch of a button in the boot for easier movement of your luggage. and the rear seats fold 60-40 with the touch of a button to boost luggage carrying capacity further. The SV's cabin is very silent thanks to active noise cancellation and double glazed windows, and thus Land Rover pipes in artificial sound from the speakers, which is one of the few cons of this car. The others being that the rear sunblinds are manual, the position of the door lock and unlock buttons isn't ergonomic, the front seat belts aren't height adjustable, the first aid kit is super cheap, there are no screens at the rear, only the rear center headrest is adjustable, there are no magazine holders, the vents on the hood and side fender are not functional, the spare tire at 195/65/22 is in full size but has an off-road pattern and gets an orange colored rim, the tailgate isn't split, but being British, Land Rover has given the provision of a partition in the boot. The key, which has the SV logo on it, is still a bit basic and should be sportier for something this fast. However, the biggest con is the removal of all physical buttons, which is a step in the wrong direction. You are completely reliant on this touchscreen for every function, including the air conditioning, and the buttons on the steering are touch sensitive and not that great to use. The bigger problem is that the screen does lag at times. But I'm sure you are here to know how it drives, not what features it gets. So let's give it the beans. Alright, it's time to start driving. Let's turn on the car. Oh, that is silent. Let's turn off the air conditioning quickly. Simply, we press SV to come into SV mode. Turn on the clear sight camera as well. And here we have some interesting things to see. So we are going to come into that. It says ensure no heavy cargo or roof load. There is none here. So we come into dynamic eye. Come on, load. I told you, the screen is a bit slow at times. I don't need the stopwatch. Yeah, I wish this could be better. I'm sure they are going to come up with physical buttons later in the future. That has to happen. And here we are. Okay, straight away we come into drive. Oh no, I forgot one thing. We come into mode, and now I need to turn off the traction control system. Traction control system off, then only the dynamic launch will work. Okay, let's shut the door for better aerodynamic efficiency. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. Hazard lights off. Dynamic launch activated, and off we go. Oh my goodness. That's 0 to 100 km per hour in 4.5 seconds. That's 0.7 seconds slower than what JLR claims. Oh my god, gear shifts are super fast. Why is it slower than what JLR claims? Simply because the road is, I think, wet and we didn't get a proper launch. Somehow fumbled in between. So this car is powered by a 4.4 liter BMW sourced V8 engine. Yes, this is the same engine which powers the M5, the older one, not the newer one. So BMW is like, Land Rover, you want an engine from us? Let us give you the better one and keep the bad one with us. The one which is powering the new M5, which is obviously detuned and then is hybrid and all that. No, there is no hybrid here. Okay, I think it has got mild hybrid assist, but whatever, that doesn't matter because that assist doesn't really spoil the experience because this is pure internal combustion engine glory and it absolutely feels phenomenal to drive. The kind of performance, the grunt and all is so mind-blowing here. I love this car because the engine is the heart of the show here. This 4.4 liter V8 engine, it produces 626 horsepower or 635 PS of power and a torque output of 750 Newton meters. However, when you do this launch, the dynamic launch, you get 50 Newton meters of additional torque, giving it an overall output of 800 freaking Newton meters. This car is going from 0 to 100 km per hour in 3.8 seconds and the top speed 290 km per hour, which is amazing. 8-speed ZF sourced automatic gearbox, which is quick with shift somehow, which is quite surprising for a torque converter to be this fast, but it shifts really quickly. There is no hesitation at all. You think and it's done. In fact, doing manual control makes no sense because the gearbox itself is so much better. See, red lines at 7,000 RPM. The gearbox is just so much better when left to do its own job without you intervening. But if you want, you can control it. There are manual control of things as well. You can control the gearbox yourself too. And my goodness, the engine is such a wow. Yeah, the horn is also actually nice here. Let's use the wipers. That spray coming out of the wiper blades, so that's again very quirky and nice. Okay, the car does move quite a lot in SV mode, but before that, let's talk about what this engine is. It's a very refined motor. It is very punchy, has good low end grunt, mid range is nice, top end is also there, so it's power throughout the rev range. Absolutely glorious. In the old M5, the F90, it was mind blowing. Here, it's a little less mind blowing because 2560 kgs is the weight of this car. They need to reduce the weight of the car, but
Land Rover is very smart. They know reducing weight is going to cost a lot of money. Increasing the power is not that expensive. You just need to tune the engine and make sure the components can handle all that additional stress of more power. And putting carbon is also not very expensive. Customers are ready to pay for more power and for carbon. They're not really ready to pay for lesser weight. Otherwise, they would have hit the gym themselves. So in that regard, I feel for the kind of weight this car has, the kind of grunt performance and everything is mind-blowing. Which actually brings me to the older Range Rover Sport SVR. Okay, SVR is gone now. Special Vehicle Racing is now replaced by Special Vehicle, which is made by SVO, the Special Vehicle Operations, by the SV division. So what is the whole funda here? It's simple. The SVR has been replaced by SV. The 5-litre supercharged V8 engine is gone. In comes the BMW engine. That engine was a Ford engine, which actually produced 540 PS of power and 680 Newton meters of torque in the old Range Rover Sport SVR. I loved that car. I drove it extensively. It had character. This car loses out on that character. I mean, that used to take 5.2 seconds to go from 0 to 100 km per hour. So this is 1.4 seconds faster to go from 0 to 100 km per hour, which is a huge difference. But the problem is that the character is reduced because with newer, stricter emission norms, the car has become a bit more quiet, less drama, less character. But the old one was just amazing. It was not as fast, it was not as fluid or refined, but it used to feel so damn freaking awesome. This one, it's good, but doesn't have the SVR-ness. That's the reason I probably think they killed the SVR. They're like, you know, the SVR badge needs to go with the older Range Rover Sport, the second generation model. And let's put it through the corners. Let me tell you, it feels mind-blowing around the corners thanks to the 6D dynamic suspension, which doesn't have anti-roll bars, which means 6 kgs of weight reduction. They keep saving weight in small areas, but still they put so many features that the car weighs a lot. And look at it go through the corners. I mean, it's not a Porsche Cayenne. You can feel a bit of the weight, but it still feels amazing for what is so freaking damn heavy. It's unbelievable how dynamic this car is. In spite of being so tall, you're sitting so high up. Ground clearance minimum 216 mm. Water weighting capacity 770 mm at its lowest position, and when you raise the rider, it goes all the way till 900 mm, almost 1 meter of water weighting capacity. So yes, it is still as capable off-road because it has got 10 driving modes, out of which I think a few of them are basically the off-road modes. When you change them, you can see it here in the instrument cluster as well. You can see it here on the infotainment system as well. So yeah, a lot of drive modes you can put into auto and the car will do its stuff. Now this 6D dynamic suspension actually has hydraulically activated dampers, which basically work with the air springs to ensure amazing ride and handling balance. And how does it do that? It has fluid, so it will move the fluid accordingly to reduce page roll, and it manages the compression, damping and all those things accordingly depending on the road situation and how aggressively you drive the car. The problem is it works fantastically when you push the car really hard and fast, but when you drive it a bit sedately, now the damper is also like, okay, let me chill now. They don't have as much pressure, and somehow the ride is a bit busy. So at low speeds the ride is busy. The ride is very busy at the rear. It doesn't feel as comfy as I would have expected it, especially at the rear. So I was sitting at the rear for some time when the car was being driven, and I'm like, oh my god, this is not comfortable at all. Now this is not running on 23-inch wheels, it's running on 22-inch wheels. Still, I'm not feeling comfy. 23-inch wheels would be killer, which I drove in the UK, by the way. And the UK roads are obviously much better, so that was not much of an issue there. Let's take a quick U-turn, and should we power up? Of course we shall, and here we go. Oh my god, it feels so dynamic. You know what, 70% power is going to the rear axle. That's the reason the car was sliding a bit. There's a lot of grip. This is all-wheel drive, obviously. It has got all the tech. It has got torque vectoring by braking. It has got rear differential, also active rear differential and all. So this is loaded, and how with a lot of stuff which really blows your mind. In fact, which makes me wonder, should we just do the launch again to see how fast it goes from 0 to 100 km per hour? Definitely we shall. We are in the right modes, completely in the right modes. Here we go. Let me stop. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. Okay, we are in manual for the gearbox. We come out of the manual. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. Dynamic launch activated. 2,500 RPM, and off we go. Come on. Okay, this is definitely faster. This is definitely freaking faster. 0 to 100 km per hour in 3.8 seconds. Oh my god, I forgot I'm driving on a public road. Yeah, that's how fast this car is. Let's brake. Let's slow down a bit. So that's 3.87 seconds to go from 0 to 100 km per hour. Hugely impressive. Close to what Land Rover claims, and that puts a massive smile on my face. The steering is also amazing. It's so freaking fluid. It's so dynamic. You know what's the best thing about this car? It is the rear wheel steering. 7.3 degrees of movement, and it makes the car feel much smaller than it is. My office parking is very weird. I have to take like real sharp U-turns, and that is a bit of a problem even with cars like the Slavia, which is sort of my daily driver. So when I sit in this car and I'm like mentally prepared to make multiple reverse turns, I am shocked to see that I don't need to do any of that because this car's rear wheel steering is so nice and aggressive. It just manages everything well. In fact, this car really chinks into the corners with so much authority. It's mind-blowing. It flows into it. Oh my goodness, the kind of speeds it does. Absolutely stunning. I'm in love. This is not a car or an SUV. This is a muscle SUV. It's like a Mustang on steroids. That's how amazing it is. Okay, let's come into sober mode. I press SV button and where we are on auto terrain response, and now things are a bit more sedate. So it's telling me that the fuel efficiency is somewhere around 4.8 kilometers per liter. It has a 90 liter fuel tank, which means that the range is not that much, because 90 liters into 4.5 or 4 on an average, you're going to go around 300 kilometers on one full tank of fuel. The older SVR actually had a 110 liter fuel tank because it was supercharged. Now turbocharging is more economical in terms of running cost, more efficient as such, and that is one thing which was in the advantage for this particular car, better efficiency, and that's what they are chasing. The claim mileage is 8 kilometers per liter, which isn't bad at all. I'm just going to change the mode here because I don't want to see fuel efficiency and feel bad about stuff. So yeah, as I see it, there's nothing quite like this car. Obviously there's the Porsche Cayenne, there's the turbo, the GTS and all those things, but there's this sense of indestructibility to this car because it's at the end of the day a Land Rover, so it can go anywhere, wherever you want to take it. Plus it is fast, it's quick, and you're sitting so high up, you just feel like the king of the road, a king who's in a hurry, a king who wants to like really power through everything, and that is what puts a massive smile on your face. This engine is glorious, it's mind-blowing. Let me downshift. Okay, I was telling you about drive modes. Oh my goodness, yeah, gearbox is aggressive. The sound is nice on the outside, it has the rumble and all. Inside it's so well insulated you can't hear much, but it does have the cracks and pops that also happen randomly on the overrun. And then once you realize that this car is all about speed and not about off-roading, then you think that okay, maybe getting the carbon fiber 23-inch wheels would be a good decision. With the carbon ceramic disc, I drove the car in the UK that had carbon ceramic disc, that had 23-inch wheels. I realized that the brake pedal feel wasn't the best because the brakes felt a bit wooden. Powerful, yes, but a bit wooden, not very feedback rich as such. And where is everybody today? Everybody is vanished. IPL is over. Where are people? In front of the TV or what? How is that even possible? Now I'm driving in a less mode. I don't realize or feel I'm in a lesser mode. I still feel the car has a lot of punch, a lot of grunt, a lot of enthusiasm. Okay, empty road. Let's do the brake test. Hazard lights on. A bit dirty. Oh, sharp brakes, nice. Now I'm driving the car over some ruined roads, not really very ruined, but yeah, you see that they're not the best of roads here. And trust me, this is not a very comfortable car, and that's why I feel that there's no point spending rupees 12 lakhs to get the carbon wheels, because if a little stone also hits it, now those wheels will not look aesthetically as pleasing as they are supposed to. But yes, if you really want to save 21 kgs, be my guest. If you want to save 34 kgs, you have to pay rupees 12 lakhs for the carbon ceramic discs as well. But then you obviously have a lot of things to boast about, like the biggest brakes on any Range Rover, the biggest brakes of any production car as well, bigger than the Bugatti Chiron as well, which is kind of crazy. Now, what's with this SV button? What does it exactly do? Once you press this SV button, now a lot of things happen to the car. The car changes its character completely. So dynamic mode was the bonkers mode. Now SV mode is bonkers plus one mode, wherein when you press the SV button, it is going to lower the car by 15 mm, an additional lowering by 15 mm, which is quite nice. And the throttle response, it becomes sharper. The gear shifts, they become faster. The steering has more weight obviously, and the exhaust become louder because this car is obviously having a sports exhaust system, so the valves open and the engine is obviously loud, but the exhaust becomes loud, and then you can hear more cracks and pops on the overrun. That's not all. The ambient light, it becomes red. Okay, the paddles, they also see, let me press this button now. Paddles are red, this is red, ambient light is red. It gives you the full fat red effect as well. And that's not all. To change the weight distribution, there's more rear braking in the car, so there's a huge transformation in terms of the way this car manages everything. In fact, the suspension also changes dramatically, because when you get into the SV mode, it recalibrates the roll stiffness, the pitch stiffness. It also changes the compression and rebound damping. So along with the lowering of the car, the suspension also is more stiffer. It's more dynamic in that sense, and it makes the car better to drive without any doubt around the corners, but not on such roads, which is like the wrong road to drive such a car. In fact, if you long press the SV button, you come into configurable dynamics, which basically lets you configure how you want the car to be. So I can just come into this menu, change how I want the engine, suspension, steering, sound to be. So yeah, there's an SV mode for everything, there's a dynamic mode, and there's a comfort mode for everything. Look at these roads, appalling, but you can just power up if you want, because water weighting capacity is absolutely bonkers in this car. Yeah, I don't even know why we're driving here, so let me just turn on the camera, because that's going to help when navigating such kind of terrain, and because there's a lot of jam. Let's come to the main road right now, wherein I just realized one thing, that this is having the full fat Range Rover feel, because it obviously is based on the Range Rover's MLA Flex platform. What is this car? It's a London taxi from BMW. It looks kind of weird, but yeah, I'm not being judgmental. Now this car has got ADAS as well. Let me quickly change this camera view, because the camera is so damn awesome. It works at speed. It makes the car look so freaking elegant as well. The 6G dynamic suspension on this car is actually similar to the one which McLaren offers with the 750S supercar suspension. Here you have got torque vectoring by braking, you've got active rear locking differential as well. So they've given all the possible hardware in this car to make sure that it's able to balance all that weight, and it somehow manages that phenomenally well. I'm so damn impressed. Now I think we should just stop and launch once again. If I use the indicator and all that also shown here, that's the level of attention to detail which is absolutely mind-blowing. Says camera use not recommended above 40 kilometers per hour, yet it lets me see the camera, which is actually quite amazing. And here you can see all the drive modes: SV mode, dynamic mode, comfort mode, auto terrain response in configurable dynamics. And then I can obviously come here to come into the various off-road modes. So there's grass, gravel, snow, mud, rut, sand, wade, and the usual bits. I don't know who's going to take this super fast Range Rover Sport SV Edition 2 off-road, but Land Rover is like, it's very much possible. So let's come into SV mode again. Let me just reset it. Let's see what we can time. The road is completely wet, so I don't expect a good time, and obviously we are on a slightly slopey road as well. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, dynamic launch activated, and off we go. Oh my goodness, it actually punches up and down with gear shift. 3.95 seconds to go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. Not bad at all. Oh my god, the steering is just lovely. The balance is super duper awesome. But this car is not as good a handler as say a Porsche Cayenne. It's not as comfortable as a Lamborghini Urus or even a Bentley Bentayga for that matter. And I just figured out that all these three cars which I mentioned right now use the same engine, the same freaking platform. They all belong to the Volkswagen group. Yes, the 4-liter bi-turbo V8 engine powers all the three cars because they are part of the VW group. Different brands, but essentially similar underneath, which actually makes me respect Land Rover even more, because they are the only one which, I mean, they're the only company which is giving a big fist fight to all the German monopoly in the super SUV segment. No. The Cullinan is not at all a super SUV in any way whatsoever, but it's absolutely phenomenal that this Range Rover Sport is competing with Bentleys, with Lambos, with Porsches, and it really holds on to its own. There are 5 variants on offer with the Range Rover Sport, and the lower variant actually is quite attractively priced now when you look at the larger scheme of things. Otherwise, when it was first launched, the 3rd generation model, I was like, why is it so expensive? Because the base variant is the HSC dynamic 3-liter petrol, which is priced at rupees 1.74 crores on road Mumbai. This SV is 3.52 crores, which is actually 1 crore more than the autobiography, which has the exact same engine. So yeah, that's quite expensive. And there's only one diesel variant, which is the HSC dynamic, which is priced at rupees 1.77 crores. So as I see it, what a car! Absolutely thrilling to drive. Obviously very feature loaded. Looks amazing, lot of quality stuff in the cabin. And now because it's pouring cats and dogs, it's time to end. Thank you so much for watching. But I'll just sum up the whole car in like a few sentences, because I just want to shut the camera and drive. It's so damn awesome.
Clearly, the Range Rover Sport SV Edition 2 is not just fast, fun, dynamic and capable, it's also very luxurious and extremely desirable too.